Hello and welcome to Marinsky March 2023, where every day in March we make a sausage recipe out of one of Adam and Stanley Marinsky's books. Last year we did home production of quality meats and sausage, which I think is one of the best sausage books out there still. It gives you the how and why behind what you're doing in sausage making. But this year we're doing recipes out of the new book, 1001 Greatest Sausage Recipes, which is a gift to us sausage makers and meat enthusiasts. Adam and Stan have traveled across Europe and North America for the last 20 years compiling recipes, and they put it all into this jumbo book. What's even better is Stanley has sent me 5 copies to give away to you guys over the course of the month, and all you got to do to get qualified is leave a comment in the videos and I'll find you and I'll send you a copy if you're one of the lucky winners. So, without any further ado, let's get into 1001 Greatest Sausage Recipes by Adam and Stanley Marinsky. Hello and welcome to another episode of Marinsky March. I'm pretty excited for this episode because we are making a fermented sausage from Germany called the, I don't know, I'll get the pronunciation wrong for sure, Durre Runde, D-U-R-R-E-R-U-N-D-E. From page 343, hailing from Germany, the Durre Runde is listed 2.211.17 in the German government publication Guide to Meats and Meat Products. This is a fermented sliceable sausage. That's what it says in 1001 Greatest Recipes. So with this one, it's fermented, it's got some pork, it's got some beef, and it's got some pork back fat, which I have here. Beef, pork back fat, you can see the lean pork, whoop, in the corner there. Bada bing, bada boom. 2 different textures. Pretty simple seasonings. It's going to be a really nice fermented sausage. So, without any further ado, let's get to doing the grinding. Okay, I'm going to grind the beef first. So it's just come out of the freezer. It's still partly frozen together. Lean beef with connective tissue. So I got some of that. You can see a little connective tissue stuff in there. So I'm going to send it through a little bit bigger plate first and then finish on the 3 mil or 1/8 of a plate. It's just a little easier on the grinder. Uh-oh, come unplugged. Whew, okay, we're back. There we go. But this is the plate we're going to finish on. That's the plate I'm going to go through first. It's just a little bit too much work to send it through here on its first go. There we go. Start feeding her in. Nothing to it. We'll set that aside. Then we're going to switch over to a 1/4 inch plate for the pork and the pork back fat. Here we go. Here's our 1/4 inch plate. We're going to send the pork and back fat through there just once. Okay. I'm going to do them separate. Lean pork first. Here comes that lean pork without connective tissue. And then last but not least, we're going to send that pork fat through. There we go. Now you want to have, if you're grinding straight pork back fat, you want to have it nice and cold, otherwise it will smear on you a little bit. So this stuff also has come right out of the freezer. Okay, then I'm going to go down finally to that real fine plate for the beef, and we'll be done our grinding. Quick to kick it off. There we go. Okay, and then our beef again through the 3 millimeter plate. Sure, a little bit of it will be pork fat at first. A little bit of pork fat, get it out of the way. Now we're into the beef. Okay, that's the end of our lean beef and the end of our grinding. Now it says to add the culture to the beef only and then mix the beef and spices with the pork afterwards. So I'm not quite sure what the reasoning is on that step, but we'll just follow the steps. Okay, so here is our bacteria culture that I got started a little bit before the video started here, so I'm gonna, for whatever reason, add that to the beef only. Grind pork through 6 millimeter plate, mix with beef and spices. So I'll do the pork next. Get these lovely spices. Oh, gotta smash this garlic. Just like you guys gotta smash that like button. Nerdy. All right, there's a smashed garlic for you. That's it, eh? Just gonna go in like that. All right. I think I should chop it up a little bit. I'm going to chop it up a little bit so you don't get a big wad of garlic in one of your bites. Garlic, check. Bacteria, check. Spices, Check. And then you just mix the pork fat in at the end because, like I said before, you don't want it to smear. You want like little particles in your finished products. Okay, I would say we're there. Stickified. Protein extracted. Next, we'll mix in that little bit of pork fat, which actually looks like a lot because fat is kind of less dense, so sprinkle that into the mix. It's kind of starting to smear. I got a little warm grinding probably, which isn't the best for fermented sausage making. You want particles, not smears. I might have to put that back in the freezer for the next batch of sausage I make. Definitely I'm gonna have to. Now I'm worried about this one not turning out. Should have been a little more cold. Yeah, pretty worried now. We'll see about the run day. Not good. Fat got too warm. See how it kind of smeared? Instead of there's like little white particles. That has me doubting the validity of this project now. But anyways, we're gonna stuff it anyways. Stick it in the 46 millimeter pork or beef casings, forming loops. So I'll grab the biggest casings I have and we'll stuff it up. Okay, and start cranking her out. So a little off the horn till you see it come out, and there we go. There's the Durre Runde. Now you want to make sure you get it nice and full. These are big casings on a littler horn, so you got to be careful. Okay, that's the end of that. I'm gonna leave myself a little extra. So I'm gonna tie them to one another. Done with that casing. You can just salt this, hang it up to dry, and reuse it again later. Okay, now it says to form them into rings or loops. So that's gonna be a loop for us right there. I am a little worried about this one, like I said, about the fat, because the reason why is because if you have particles, the moisture can move in and around of them and escape out the sausage. But if it's a smeared wall, it has a tough time for moisture to move around that when it hits a wall. So we'll see. I'm just gonna put a couple holes in it here, let a little bit of the air pockets out, massage it out a little bit. You don't want any air pockets in there either. It looks pretty good. I really hope it turns out because it looks pretty yummy. So you kind of got that fat instead of particles. It's a smear right there. I'll show you how well you can see that. But anyways, using the casing, just doing a double knot. Okay, then I'm gonna grab a weight off of it so we know what our target weight is. I wanna lose 33%. Done. But the next step here, before we start drying, is we have to ferment. We have to let those beautiful bacteria we put in there grow and take over and not allow the bad bacteria, the pseudomonads, to spoil our meat. So that's what we added that culture for. We gotta help it out now. So it says to ferment at 20 degrees Celsius, 68 Fahrenheit, at 85 to 95% humidity for 3 days. So I'm gonna wrap it up in some saran wrap, some cling wrap, and then pop it upstairs in my meat shop in a little food grade container where it is nice and warm and it can ferment. Okay, I brought the Durre Runde down from downstairs. Nice and humid in there from being wrapped in the saran wrap. If I had a pH meter, which I have ordered but it didn't come in time, I would test it right now, but it looks good. The meat color is nice and light pink, like a cured meat color. Smells kind of like a cheese. All right, now it's time to put the Durre Runde in the cold smoker for 24 hours. All right, it looks like I ran into some audio problems at this point. So all I got there is looks like that's the Lucanico Pizzilis and the Durre Runde. I'm gonna fire up the Big Chief, which is gonna generate some smoke. You can see the snow on the ground in the background. It's middle of February, I think, when I'm doing this, so it's good and cold. That little Chief doesn't get the cold smoker too hot. It stays below 10, 12, 15 degrees Celsius at the hottest. So I lost the next little bit of footage, but basically I take it out of the cold smoker and put it into the chamber for multiple weeks at about 80% relative humidity, between 10 to 12 degrees Celsius, until it loses that 30 or 35% weight.
Okay, another exciting day for me. The Durre Runde is finished up. It is now dry enough to eat. Okay, out of the drying cabinet, the Durre Runde has come. I was worried that it might not dry sufficiently because I did end up smearing the fat. I got a little bit warm, and we will see for sure when I cut into it. But it smells nice. Fermented and smoky is the aroma it gives off. So, let's dive into this guy here. I'll get you a cross section before we eat it. Looks pretty good. So despite me smearing the fat, it makes the fat content look quite a bit higher than it probably is. They look good. Nice cured color all the way through. There's no brown off coloring on the inside. So that looks pretty good to me. Smells good for sure. Okay, it's time to twist my rubber arm and have a bite of this fermented sausage. All right. I think if I remember correctly, it's a pretty plain sausage. I think it's just salt, pepper, garlic, cure, and bacteria. Which makes for a real nice combination of spices in this sausage. Very, very good. It's got a very deep fermented taste. Oh man, very yummy. One critique of mine, not of the sausage, is that fat smearing kind of affects the texture. It's a bit on the mushy side. Versus if we were able to keep those as particles, it would have been like a little more, you would be hitting pockets of creamy fat. Versus it's kind of like a bit of a mushy fat texture. My fault, not the sausage's fault. But overall, that is great. Simple sometimes is awesome. And that's the neat part about these fermented sausages. You can get such a depth of flavor out of such a simple ingredient because the extension of time just really changes the flavor in the drying cabinet. But that's very good. So good, I'm going to have another piece like I usually do. These fermented sausages are a treat. I don't get to make them for my store very often. So I'd probably leave this outside the chamber for a day just to get that sausage casing to firm up a little bit more. But the smokiness, I forgot to comment on that. It does come through. It's quite nice. Oh man, yeah. You would like it. If you got the setup to make this, you would like this. And I hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching, guys. Another day in Marinsky March. I appreciate you watching, and we'll do another one every day this March. 1001 greatest sausage recipes.